Hey there, Ben Harvey here, and you may have heard about the recent wealth creation survey that we ran on over 25,000 Australians. And off the back end of that survey, we received a whole bunch of questions, and what I'd like to do with you today is answer the top 5 for you. Now, who knows, maybe one of these questions may have actually been yours. So on my phone here, I've actually got the list of questions. I'm just going to go through them one at a time so you can actually get some answers as a clarification around maybe some of the information that you need answered inside your mind when it comes to your own wealth creation endeavors. So the very first question was actually our number 1 question, and we received this from more people than any other question. In fact, we got this question from people like Brian or Grant, Michelle, Rihanna, Diana, Mark, Sandra, Amber, and the list goes on and on and on. So here is the question. How can I create a wealth creation journey without any money? So a lot of people were asking this question, like, if I want to go and create wealth, how do I do it if I don't have any money? Well, the fact is it is actually called wealth creation, not wealth multiplication. If it was called wealth multiplication, then it would make sense. You know, you need wealth and then you multiply it. But wealth creation is actually building wealth up from scratch. And so the best way to begin the journey of wealth creation, I believe, is to first of all increase your wealth vocabulary. Increase the knowledge you have around wealth. Because the funny thing about how our mind operates is we are conditioned to only observe and experience and be aware of the opportunities that we can fathom inside the dialect we have inside our mind. So if your brain can't fit an opportunity into the language that you have inside your mind, it just deletes the opportunity altogether. So one of the first things that I did in my own personal wealth creation journey was I increased my vocabulary and my knowledge around wealth creation concepts. Things like asset classes. You know, there are 5 core asset classes that people build wealth in all over the world. And so learning just about asset classes is a starting point that will actually allow you to open up to see opportunities around you. Things like debt reduction, debt recycling, debt leveraging, these kind of concepts are phrases that actually mean something. And if you understand the meaning behind them, they open you up to a new world of possibility. So one of the easiest starting points for anybody who's wanting to join a wealth creation journey without much money is to just start learning as much as possible. Increase your wealth vocabulary and you'll find the opportunities start to present themselves, and you'll realize that wealth creation is something that can be done by anybody, even if you have no money right now to talk about. So let's go on to the second question. The second question was this. This one comes from Adrian, and the question is, how can I earn money without stress? How can I earn money without stress? Now, I know a lot of Australians out there are actually very stressed when it comes to earning money. In fact, unfortunately, money creates a large amount of stress in the body, and we also know that stress is one of the leading causes for heart disease and cancers, and a whole range of different illnesses that we experience really do have the origins in stress. And what we do find is that money is one of these things that creates a large amount of stress, both in the creation of wealth itself, but also in not having money. So Adrian, my answer to you is this. If you want to start to create money without being stressed out, first of all, you have to understand how money is created. And money basically is created through exchanging value in a marketplace. For example, you can get a piece of wood and you can carve that piece of wood into a beautiful drumstick. And then you can go and sell that drumstick to a drummer. And in doing that creation of value, you in fact make money. So the key to actually making money without stress is to find some things that you're inspired to create. Now, you may be inspired creating a healthy mindset in people. You may be inspired helping people create a loving relationship. You may be inspired helping people build a business, for example. But you can't actually begin to generate income without first creating value in the marketplace. So in answer to your question, if you would like to be able to create money without being stressed, then you've got to find something to create that doesn't stress you, that is valuable in the marketplace. So I hope that helps, Adrian. Next question is question number 3, and this one comes from Anka. How can I avoid impulse buying and spending? How can I avoid impulse buying and spending? Now, I'm going to tell you right now, Anka, you are definitely not alone. A lot of people do impulse spending. In fact, there are entire shopping centers designed just for those people. I guess the thing is not really how do you avoid it. You know, I don't think you need to avoid impulse buying and spending. I think if you're able to generate and create value in the marketplace, then you can consume whatever it is that you like. There are standards out there of living that people are able to achieve in their life, and they're not greedy. They're just reserved for people who want to provide value in the marketplace. So here's my little statement that I would like you to think about, Anka, and everyone else who's watching this as well. First create, then consume. That would be my philosophy. So you're allowed to consume. You're allowed to do impulse buying. You're allowed to spend things. You're allowed to buy your sister a house. You're allowed to take your friends on a holiday. You're allowed to do whatever you want with your money. You earned it. You created the value. You can do whatever you want with it. Don't let anyone tell you ever what you're allowed to do with your money. But if you are going to be told what to do with your money, my advice would be seek out experts to give you some advice around that. However, rather than trying to curb your impulse spending, what I would first look at is to try and increase your creating a value ability. Because if you do learn to create value in the marketplace, just like I shared with Adrian, then you're able to consume whatever it is that you like. And that consumption could be the building of charities. It could be the feeding of people around the world. It could be setting up philanthropic organizations. It could be setting up libraries. It could just be buying a nice car or traveling the world or just retiring young. But you can only consume if you create. So the big problem is actually people who consume way before they've created value. So Anka, consume whatever you like. Don't try and curb your impulse spending, but make sure that your ability to create value in the marketplace outstrips your desire to do impulse spending and buying. I hope this one helps you and some other people as well. All right, next question is, this one's from Tori. I've realized I'm psychologically comfortable with debt. How can I change this? Well, here's the thing. If you are psychologically comfortable with debt, that's actually a good thing. Because some of the wealthiest people on the planet, as a vehicle for wealth creation, is to do something known as leverage. Now, leverage is where you use a little bit of your money and a large amount of OPM, other people's money, banks most predominantly. Now, if you're comfortable with debt, then that is a good thing, because as you go down a wealth creation journey, depending on the structure and strategies you use to build your wealth, quite often you'll actually find yourself in significantly greater levels of debt. You know, there's a time in my life where I was $137,000 in debt, just in consumer debt, and I had nothing to show for it. I had a very dodgy $350 canary yellow Alpha Sprint. I was living in a rented apartment. I had very little furniture. I mean, I was really in a bad financial position. So I had debt, but the debt was not serving me. The debt was not doing anything to grow my financial position. But one thing I did learn about that debt was this. That debt taught me how to save money. Because think about it. Every week or month or fortnight, you have to pay an amount towards that debt. You have to pay that debt off at some point. And every time you're paying that debt off, you're actually developing a habit of saving. Because if we remove the debt but left the exact same behavior behind, you are in fact saving. So debt is designed fundamentally to teach people how to save. And so even though I was in debt since I was 14 years of age, I learned throughout my whole life to save money. I know I didn't actually accumulate any of it because I was paying debts off, but the behavior of putting money into an account regularly like clockwork taught me over the years to eventually learn how to save. Nowadays, I've cleared all of my consumer debt, but I have millions of dollars worth of debt now that is leveraged out from the banks to increase my assets in my portfolio. So being comfortable with debt is actually a good thing because you get to leverage other people's money, and if you feel comfortable with debt now, then you'll feel comfortable with debt when it is an asset-based leveraged debt. However, keep in mind that your debt really does assist you to learn how to save. So just keep that thing in mind. And the very last question we have is this. What are the 3 best action steps I can take towards my financial freedom starting today? And that's from Kate. Here's the thing. The 3 best action steps anyone can take right now would be simply this. First of all, work on your wealth imprint. Inside our mind, we have a set of belief systems that formulate something that modern-day psychologists call a wealth imprint. And whether or not you're surrounded by abundance or you're absolutely broke as you can be, the fact is all of that is generally driven by your imprint inside your mind. So the very first step I would take is to start to look deeply at the beliefs you have around money, how you feel about money, and the actions you take towards money, all being born out of the way you think about this thing called money. So the very first step is to look inside your mind and check out your beliefs and the meaning you put on money. Step number 2 would be learn some of the tools. Start to learn different tools that are actually utilized for wealth creation. Start to get an understanding more deeply about taxes and insurances and what to do with your money and how to budget and cash flow. Just get some general knowledge around the actual utilization of your money. Maybe speak to a financial planner, a financial advisor, or someone like that to give you a generalized idea, a little bit more about the whole game of money itself. And the third big thing would be to get yourself a vehicle of some description. Not a car, but a vehicle, a wealth creation vehicle. And there's generally 5 wealth creation vehicles out there. There's education, there is fixed interest, there's property, shares, and business. But get yourself a vehicle and start to understand and learn about the actual vehicles, the mechanisms that people all over the world utilize to build wealth. And if you're willing to work on your mindset, to learn some of the tools and get yourself a great vehicle, you'll be well on your way to building wealth in no time. Now, just on that, we are in fact running for the very first time ever in the history of our company a free one-day wealth creation event called the Financial Freedom Formula. Now, at this event, we will be actually hearing from 3 of Australia's leading experts on wealth creation, and we'll be covering topics from how to build a wealth mindset to what do wealthy people know that poor people do not, and also learning techniques of how to invest in the share market just like Warren Buffett. So if you'd like to come along to the program, please enter your details on the space provided on this page or click the link below. Now, the spaces for this event are actually limited by the room size of the hotels that we've booked. So it's a first come, first served basis, but if you'd like to learn from absolute world-class wealth creation experts, then come along to the program. It's not a get-rich-quick crazy thing like that. This is about how to create a life of passive income, of assets, of freedom by actually learning the tools and techniques that the wealthiest people actually use. So if you'd like to come along, please do enter your details down below and book it into your diary and come along to the event. And when you're at the event, make sure you do come up and introduce yourself to me, because I love to meet everybody that we share our ideas with. So I hope these questions have helped. Pop your details down below, register for the event, and until we meet again, share your light, live your love, and do whatever it takes to be your own best friend. I'll see you soon.